Meghan Markle has once again managed to turn a simple situation into an overblown spectacle, this time dragging an innocent child, Princess Charlotte, into the drama. Charlotte, without even trying, embodies the poise, charm, and grace that Meghan seems to crave but has never quite achieved. At the center of this latest imagined rivalry? A delicate ruby necklace, originally designed by Harry's ex-girlfriend, Chelsy Davy. The idea that Meghan allegedly had a meltdown over this understated yet elegant piece of jewelry is both amusing and entirely expected. For most, it's simply a thoughtful and fitting gift for a young princess. But in Meghan's world, it becomes something far more dramatic. A supposed sign of betrayal, a conspiracy against her, a challenge to her self-importance. Once again, she has shown an inability to accept that not everything revolves around her. Instead of embracing humility or adapting to royal life with grace, she seems determined to make every situation about herself. Meghan Markle's unchecked ego has once again proven why she was never suited for the very role she worked so hard to exploit. What makes this situation both ridiculous and telling is her apparent inability to understand her place within the royal family. She stepped into this world with grand illusions, convinced that her modest Hollywood success and carefully crafted charm could somehow outshine centuries of tradition, duty, and service. But it didn't take long for the illusion to shatter. Unlike Catherine, who has earned admiration through sincerity, dedication, and quiet elegance, Meghan has taken a different path, one driven by self-promotion and a constant narrative of victimhood. Her need to be the center of attention at all times has only led to her being repeatedly overshadowed by those who embody true grace, including, ironically, a child like Princess Charlotte. The idea that Meghan would reportedly take offense to a little girl's jewelry choice speaks volumes about her character, or lack of it. It exposes a deep-seated insecurity and jealousy that continues to define her public image. Meghan's jealousy isn't just directed at Catherine. It extends to anyone who earns genuine admiration and respect without relying on publicity stunts. At the heart of her frustration is a painful truth. She can never possess what Princess Charlotte was born with: authentic royal status, effortless charm, and the public's genuine affection. No amount of PR campaigns, staged interviews, or carefully curated photo ops can manufacture the kind of admiration that Charlotte naturally commands. Her reported reaction to the ruby necklace only highlights her deep insecurity and inability to accept the consequences of her own choices. She walked away from royal life, yet she remains fixated on controlling the narrative surrounding the royal family. Her behavior is a striking display of hypocrisy, denouncing the institution she abandoned while still clinging to the titles and privileges it once gave her. The necklace incident is just another reminder of her misplaced belief that she should still have influence over royal affairs, despite having severed ties with the very institution she so recklessly turned against. What makes Meghan's behavior even more absurd is her apparent belief that she has the right to dictate what others wear, do, or who they associate with. Did she genuinely expect Harry to insist that his niece not wear a necklace designed by his ex-girlfriend? Did she hope to guilt Catherine into avoiding Chelsy Davy's creations altogether? Such unrealistic expectations only highlight Meghan's deep misunderstanding of royal life and her inability to see beyond her own ego. The royal family is built on tradition, respect, and duty, values that Meghan has repeatedly shown she neither appreciates nor understands. Meanwhile, Catherine continues to rise above Meghan's petty drama with the kind of grace and dignity that Meghan can never seem to match. Catherine doesn't need to broadcast her accomplishments or create unnecessary controversy to remain relevant. Her unwavering commitment to her family, charitable efforts, and future role as queen speaks volumes, while Meghan remains caught up in fabricating grievances to keep herself in the spotlight. Catherine embodies everything a royal should be: poised, compassionate, and unshakably strong. And then there's Princess Charlotte, who, despite her young age, has already displayed more grace and maturity than Meghan ever has. Her ruby necklace isn't just a lovely piece of jewelry. It symbolizes the strong, close-knit relationships within the royal family, bonds that Meghan has failed to build due to her self-interest and short-sightedness. Charlotte is set to grow into a formidable presence within the royal family, her natural charm and confidence ensuring she becomes a beloved figure. Meghan, on the other hand, seems destined to be remembered not for any meaningful accomplishments, but for the damage she attempted, and ultimately failed, to inflict. Perhaps the most revealing part of this entire saga is Harry's role, or, rather, his absence. Once a beloved and respected figure within the royal family, he now appears to be little more than Meghan's enabler in her endless quest for attention and control. The irony is hard to ignore. Harry, who once championed mental health and personal growth, now seems lost in a narrative driven by grievance and resentment. Harry, once known for his resilience, now finds himself complicit in his wife's destructive spiral of jealousy and bitterness. His silence on incidents like the ruby necklace debacle only highlights his growing irrelevance both within the royal family and in the public eye. The ruby necklace incident is far more than just another chapter in Meghan Markle's ongoing saga. It's a reflection of her entire approach to life and royal duties. It reveals her inability to celebrate the successes of others, her tendency to turn small issues into major dramas, and her constant need to make everything about herself. It's a sad, almost pitiful display of someone who has all the potential to create a meaningful legacy, but instead chooses to remain mired in pettiness and self-inflicted chaos. Meghan's reaction to Princess Charlotte's necklace is both absurd and telling. It exposes her deep insecurity, lack of self-awareness, and her inability to rise above her own jealousy and bitterness. Meanwhile, the rest of the royal family continues to quietly build a legacy of grace and dignity. Meghan remains trapped in a cycle of self-pity and misguided attempts at staying relevant, and the world sees right through it. Chelsy Davy represents everything Meghan wishes she could be, but falls short of achieving. From her genuine warmth and understated elegance to her ability to live life without constantly craving attention, Chelsy exudes a natural charm and poise that Meghan can only try to replicate with carefully staged photo ops and rehearsed interviews. Chelsy doesn't need to remind people of her worth. Her actions and presence speak volumes. In stark contrast, Meghan's approach has been marked by desperation, a constant need to compete, and an insatiable hunger for validation. Meghan's insecurities are painfully obvious and show in her obsession with outshining those around her. The sight of Princess Charlotte wearing a ruby necklace designed by Chelsy must have been a crushing blow to Meghan's fragile ego, a reminder that Chelsy, a woman she can't seem to outshine, continues to hold a quiet power that Meghan can only envy. Chelsy maintains her grace and dignity without the need for spectacle. Her jewelry brand, grounded in ethical practices and inspired by her genuine love for African culture, stands as a testament to her authenticity. In contrast, Meghan has built a reputation based on superficiality, creating projects that seem more focused on boosting her image than making a real, lasting impact. It's no secret that Meghan's philanthropic efforts often feel hollow, overshadowed by self-promotion rather than a sincere desire to create meaningful change. Chelsy's Work serves as a quiet reminder that authenticity doesn't require fanfare. Meghan's envy isn't just about Chelsy's connection to Harry or her professional success. It's rooted in the stark difference in how the world sees them. While Chelsy radiates kindness and relatability, Meghan struggles to hide her calculated nature. Every move carefully crafted to keep her name in the headlines. Even in their public appearances, Chelsy effortlessly outshines Meghan with her beauty, a blend of radiant youthfulness and natural charm, standing in sharp contrast to Meghan's more forced and deliberate persona. Meghan's increasingly strained attempts to project an image of timeless elegance only emphasize the authenticity she lacks. Her reliance on heavy-handed styling and overly polished appearances does nothing but reveal her superficiality. Chelsy, on the other hand, doesn't need a team of stylists or meticulously curated outfits to capture attention. Her natural, unpretentious nature and genuine smile do all the work. Meghan's jealousy of Chelsy is only intensified by the latter's enduring bond with the royal family. Despite her relationship with Harry ending years ago, Chelsy has maintained a respectful connection with the royals, something Meghan has failed to achieve, even as a former member of the family. Chelsy's ability to navigate these relationships with grace and respect only highlights Meghan's struggles to do the same. While Chelsy's interactions with the royals are marked by mutual admiration and understanding, Meghan's time in the royal sphere has been filled with conflict, self-inflicted isolation, and a series of accusations that have left her reputation in tatters. One can only wonder how much longer Meghan will continue to fuel her bitterness rather than find a way to rebuild and move forward. Imagine Meghan's reaction to the public adoration for Chelsy and her designs. The ruby necklace worn by Princess Charlotte is more than just a beautiful piece of jewelry. It symbolizes the elegance and integrity that Meghan so clearly lacks. While Meghan's every move seems to scream, "Look at me!" Chelsy's quiet success speaks volumes without uttering a word. It's a powerful reminder that true grace doesn't need to be performed. It simply exists. Meghan's envy of Chelsy likely goes beyond just the professional or personal. It's about how effortlessly Chelsy navigates life, free from the constant need to assert herself or prove her worth. Meghan, on the other hand, appears locked in a relentless battle to justify her choices, her actions, and even her existence. This desperation is evident in every project she undertakes, every interview she gives, and every carefully crafted narrative she spins. While Chelsy thrives in her authenticity, Meghan flounders in her quest for approval. Adding insult to injury is Chelsy's ongoing connection to the royal family, something Meghan has yet to achieve, despite her attempts to remain part of the royal story. Chelsy's connection to the royal family, particularly through her jewelry being chosen for Princess Charlotte, makes a quiet but powerful statement. It's a testament to the respect and admiration she has earned over the years, qualities Meghan has yet to develop. Meghan's response to this, predictably, has been one of bitterness and an inability to rise above her own feelings of inadequacy. In many ways, Meghan's jealousy of Chelsy reflects her deeper insecurities about her place in the world. Meghan has long tried to present herself as a modern-day feminist icon and humanitarian, yet her actions often contradict these lofty claims. Her public persona, carefully constructed and meticulously maintained, stands in stark contrast to Chelsy's genuine, unassuming approach to life. This discrepancy hasn't gone unnoticed by the public, who can see through Meghan's polished image to the envy and insecurity lurking beneath. The ruby necklace incident is just the latest chapter in Meghan's ongoing saga of self-sabotage. Her reaction, whether expressed openly or through her characteristic passive-aggressive behavior, only serves to further expose the cracks in her carefully curated narrative. Meghan's constant need to control and be recognized shows her struggle to let go. Her ongoing efforts to outshine others, even someone as young as Princess Charlotte, come from a deep fear of being overlooked. On the other hand, Chelsy has never had to face that fear. With her quiet confidence and natural charm, Chelsy continues to succeed without trying too hard. Meghan, focused on staying in the spotlight, often does so at the cost of others. In contrast, Chelsy's success grows naturally, and it's clear that true grace and beauty can't be faked. They come from within. Meghan's attempts to compete with Chelsy, whether on purpose or not, always fall short because they lack the authenticity and humility that define Chelsy's character. Meghan's jealousy and bitterness only highlight her inability to appreciate others' successes. Her constant need to be the center of attention has pushed her away from the people around her. Chelsy continues to earn admiration from everyone around her, thanks to her quiet elegance and genuine warmth. The difference between her and Meghan is striking, and it's clear that Meghan should stop comparing herself to her. It's hard not to feel some sympathy for Harry when thinking about the situation he's found himself in. As a prince born with so much privilege and responsibility, he's now tied to a woman whose traits seem to include a massive ego, constant self-pity, and a lack of awareness beyond her own image. Meghan is the perfect example of narcissism, dressed up as a victim. One can only imagine how Harry must regret his choice, as her dramatic actions pull them both deeper into the public's negative view. Meghan's behavior is like a train wreck that you can't look away from, not because it's fascinating, but because it teaches you everything you should avoid. Despite her obsession with presenting a perfect image, she somehow keeps showing her flaws in the most noticeable ways. Meghan seems to have an endless need to play the victim. She says she was silenced, but then gives interviews that are anything but quiet. She claims the royal family didn't support her, yet ignores all the efforts they made to include her. Her story always revolves around some grand conspiracy, and it's getting tiring and a bit embarrassing. Harry, sadly, has become more of a side character in Meghan's drama. The prince who once brightened so many lives now seems like a shadow of his former self. He gave up his family, his country, and his dignity to be Meghan's companion in what she called freedom. But it's more like a golden cage with Netflix and constant PR nightmares. Watching Harry sit there, agreeing with her as if he's stuck in an uncomfortable situation, is both sad and awkward. And Meghan? Her obsession with herself is hard to miss, as though every mirror she passes whispers, "You're the most important person in the room." Meghan presents herself as the center of attention, believing her own narrative without question. However, the reality is quite different. Her struggle to form genuine connections, combined with a constant need for admiration and superiority, has pushed away even those who once stood by her. Her charitable work often feels more like a publicity stunt, where the spotlight remains on her image rather than the impact she's making. Instead of inspiring, it comes across as empty posturing. Her rivalry with other women, especially those within the royal family, is hard to ignore. The mere mention of Catherine or Chelsy Davy seems to unsettle her. Catherine's genuine warmth and unwavering commitment to her role highlight the qualities Meghan tries to project but doesn't quite embody. Meanwhile, Chelsy's effortless authenticity speaks volumes without the need for grand gestures. Meghan's jealousy toward these women is obvious, just like her attempts to reshape the narrative in her favor. Meghan consistently portrays herself as a victim. Her words, actions, and carefully crafted public appearances all reinforce this image. What's truly frustrating is her relentless pursuit of relevance at any cost. Whether through staged outrage, strategic charity work, or constant media exposure, She has made it clear that fading into the background is simply not an option. Yet, in her desperate attempt to remain in the spotlight, she has only managed to turn herself and Harry into the punchline of an ongoing royal spectacle. At this point, one has to wonder if even Harry fully grasps the damage their behavior has caused. The idea of the two living a quiet, content life seems almost absurd. They, or rather she, appear to thrive on chaos and attention. If Meghan genuinely wanted a peaceful and meaningful life, she wouldn't be writing explosive memoirs or securing lucrative deals to broadcast her grievances. Instead, she would focus on the causes she claims to care about, away from the cameras and the constant need for public validation. Staying out of the public eye has never been Meghan's approach. Her take on philanthropy feels more like a carefully staged production, complete with designer outfits and plenty of self-praise. It's hard not to feel frustrated by how she has distanced Harry from his own family. For all its flaws, the royal family stands as a symbol of tradition and duty spanning centuries. Yet, Harry has turned away from it all, embracing Meghan's version of independence, a choice that feels undeniably heartbreaking. Now, his days seem consumed by a life far removed from the one he was born into, leaving many to wonder if he truly understands the cost of that decision. Harry once dedicated himself to meaningful work that inspired admiration worldwide. Now, he seems more focused on defending Meghan's every move, rather than making a real difference. A loss not just for him, but for everyone who once respected him. As for Meghan, nothing ever seems to be enough. No amount of praise or success can fill her endless need for attention. Their relationship feels less like a partnership and more like a strategic move, a way for her to elevate her status, even at the expense of the man who was once beloved by millions. Harry may believe he has found his soulmate, but to many, it looks like he has found his downfall. Perhaps the best path forward for them would be a life away from the spotlight, where they can focus on whatever they believe their true purpose to be, without dragging others into the drama. But for someone like Meghan, the thought of fading into the background is likely unbearable. After all, for someone who thrives on being the center of attention, irrelevance would be the ultimate defeat. If nothing else, let's hope they find happiness, preferably somewhere far removed from the royal family and the many people they've pushed away. Harry deserves a chance to regain some dignity, and as for Meghan, maybe she'll finally find peace when the world stops paying attention. But let's be honest, Meghan, without an audience, is like a fish out of water. She'll never stop gasping for air. And so, the saga continues. A never-ending spectacle of drama, entitlement, and chaos that follows them wherever they go. From Meghan's tireless pursuit of the spotlight to Harry's unwavering loyalty to the storm she creates, their journey has been anything but royal. It's a story of ego, ambition, and the relentless need for validation clashing with tradition, duty, and public expectation. One thing is certain. No matter how exhausting or frustrating this ongoing drama may be, the world will keep watching. Will they ever step away from the spotlight and embrace a quieter, more meaningful life? Or will they continue the theatrics, ensuring their place in the headlines for years to come? Only time will tell. For now, all we can do is watch this real-life soap opera unfold. If you enjoyed this breakdown, or if it sparked some thoughts you'd like to share, be sure to like this video, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the royal family's most talked-about moments. Your support keeps the conversation going, and we'd love to hear your take on Meghan, Harry, and the legacy they're creating. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. In our next upload, we'll dive into more fascinating royal stories, scandals, and insights. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.